I think the effect's probably been around for a while. Certainly since COVID, there's been a big shortage of properties on the market. I don't think that's really changed. I don't really believe that actually what's happening now with rising costs, that's had any greater impact than what's already there.
Right.
To be fair, but I think it probably potentially would stop people who have been putting off doing something because of COVID. Probably now this year would have been initially thinking, actually now's the year to do it, and maybe they're going to be put off later on in the year with cost rises, and yet another one to come later on this year with regards to the sort of fuel costs.
Right.
Possibly.
I think another angle to this as well is that we've seen unprecedented house price increases. Certainly over the last 2 years, pre-COVID and stamp duty holiday, and through COVID, and obviously moving into this year as well. The real shortage of properties is causing prices to go through the roof. We're starting to see a little bit of, in certain areas, a bit of a slowdown, but I think that's putting off potential people putting houses on the market, because they're a bit like, well, whatever we're going to be buying as well is probably going to be more expensive as well. So they're trying to hold off. There's a few cases where people are holding off, I think.
Do you think that's going to see like a slowdown over the summer in that case then?
I think it is, yeah. This isn't long term. My thoughts on this is I think it will be over the summer period. It's notoriously quiet over the summer anyway, potentially. But yeah, people are still thinking, well, I can sell my house in a day, but I can't find anything. And you think, well, if you don't put your house on the market, you're not going to find the house.
No one's going to take it seriously enough if you've not sold your house anyway, are they, at the end of the day?
No, exactly.
Rising costs is having definitely some significant decision making for certain people, whether they're home movers or first time buyers, because of escalating costs. I appreciate that and fully understand it, but mortgage interest rates are as low as they've ever been.
Still, even with the rises, yeah.
Even with these subtle rises, which, the Bank of England had to step in to try and draw inflation down to curb those costs. So it's still a good time. We don't know where the market's going to be next year, but we can certainly see what's happening this year. But
do you think there's a need to stop it? Though, the costs of living have gone up. Whether you move house or not, the cost of living, if you stay in your own house, the cost of living's gone up. So would you not be better to go and get the move now, get the bigger house at the lower interest rate with rising costs at the end of the day, than sit there, wait, and then pay higher in the interest rate in 3-6 months or so anyway?
I'm not sure that the people buying understand the interest rates, because like you said, right now it's not. I think there's a lot of media coverage is scaring people. I don't think it's not as high as we think, or as people are being made to think. The interest rates are now only just slightly what they were before COVID. But people have been speaking to me, clients, and they think it's going to go to 12-13%. That's how worried they are, because of the media scaremongering and people not understanding what's really going on. They're not as bad as people seem to think.
So really now's a great time to get a fixed rate, isn't it, still?
Well, absolutely. I kind of look at the renters out there, those that have been in rent for a long period of time, have got a sizable deposit. They're concerned about, trying to find a property, but I think the long and short of it is, if interest rates are going up proportionately, rents are also going up.
Of course, it makes no difference, does it? Why would you stop buying on the basis that rising costs when rents will go up anyway? It doesn't make a lot of sense, really.
No.
I think the only issue we're seeing, obviously, with property prices as high as they are, it is pricing people out. And I think, with the rising costs, that in reality is only affecting affordability from a lender's perspective, how much they're prepared to lend people. So I think people's borrowing capacity perhaps may be a lot less than it would have been 6-12 months ago. And of course, with the house prices where they are, it may be that people's dream home of the big 4-bed detached isn't actually a reality anymore. Maybe they're just, if they want to move home, and I do honestly believe that there are people still out there who want to do this.
But maybe it's a case of us helping them manage their expectations correctly in the first place, and speaking to someone like us at the beginning before they start getting to that point.
Exactly right.
I think it's just being real about where you are. Maybe even look at, everybody wants to sort of work in a particular, or live and work in an area. Maybe think outside the box a little bit.
Yeah, move to a cheaper area or something.